Hey Sagittarius, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today to talk about your March 2023 horoscope. Before I start, I just want to do a little bit of business. These videos are based on whole sign Western astrology, so I'm talking about Sagittarius rising. If you don't know your rising sign, you just get to check one of the free birth calculators on the internet. You need your exact time of birth and your location to determine your natal chart. Also, when I talk about the house structure, so when I mention that Aries is your fifth house, again, this is based on Sagittarius rising. The video is still applicable for Sagittarius moon and Sagittarius sun. The house structure just will not be correct. Also, when I mention the times and the dates, that's referring to the Pacific time zone, so please adjust for your location. Okay, so let's jump into this month because March is a pivotal month in that we have two planets, two significant planets. Saturn is changing signs and so is Pluto. I have done a separate video on this because Saturn has been in domicile, being in a Capricorn and Aquarius for the last 4.5 to 5 years, and moving into Pisces is going to be a significant energy shift that we will all feel, even people who don't study astrology. And then Pluto tipping its toe into Aquarius this year is a very big energy shift as well, but it's also a glimpse into what the next 20 years from 2024 to 2044 will be like for us. So please check those videos. But let's jump into some of the dynamics that are going to come into play this month that are going to have influence and affect those other two planets and their changing signs. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the beginning of the month, specifically on March 3rd, we will see Venus, the planet of our money, the planet of our partnerships, our self-worth, our creativity, our beauty, is going to be in an exact conjunction with Chiron at 13 degrees Aries, and they will both be in a conjunction to Jupiter at 12 degrees Aries. This is your fifth house of creativity, of the conception of children, of romance, of personal pleasure. By nature, Leo is called the clown, the performer, the child. So to me, this is really about giving yourself an opportunity to birth a version of you into the world, but not necessarily taking physical action just yet. This is really about your ruling planet is having this conversation, right? So Jupiter's here with Chiron, which is the wound that transforms into the gift. So we're talking about right now having this conversation about my belief system. Am I willing to move into beliefs that support my individuality and the importance of my own creativity and my own self-expression? And if you are of childbearing years and you're wanting to bring a child into the world, there's things to consider that are beyond your physical apparatus. There is the soul of that particular child and the astrological dynamics that have been going on, and the consideration that if you are, we just talked about you looking at your natal chart. So you could potentially have been having challenges with conception, and now you're going to see an opportunity for that to lift, and your alignment to the belief that your body knows what to do and that conception is pending. Okay, it's on its way. I also want to say that if for some reason you are not of childbearing years, then this would really be pertinent to your own personal pleasure and self-expression out into the world. And if it has something to do with sex or romance, because romance usually leads to sex in some way, then this is about allowing yourself the privilege of knowing that and being brave and expressing yourself that way. Aries, the Aries energy is that of the hero. It's also the warrior. And we can look at the warrior as some, out of control banshee that comes into the village and pillages. Or we can look at as a military officer who comes in and saves those that are in compromised positions. So I want you to really take the higher road with this energy, because on the same day, March 3rd, Mercury will enter Pisces, and Mercury's been having a conversation with Saturn, at the end of February and all the way through the beginning of March. Saturn representing my personal history in the sign of Aquarius. And this is your third house. So this would be the house where you learned about your family and how you were in relation to your siblings and your cousins, and how you work with your teammates and how you run your everyday life. And this is under the Aquarian energy is an opportunity to really go into a new venture, to implement, maybe in some ways, technology going on here, allowing the Mercury moving into Pisces, which is your fourth house of home, having a conversation with Saturn that rules the father in your third house of your siblings. So there's something going on in this mercurial conversation that is asking you to step out of a patterned, imprinted way of thinking and looking at it from more of that Jupiterian energy, because Venus and Chiron's conversation could very well have to do with a wound you have in how you've been perceived, whether you were perceived as smart, whether you were perceived as a cooperative child. Parents tend to inadvertently categorize their children. This is my little mommy. This is my little terrorist. This is my little this. We don't do it to harm the child. We almost do it in a joking way, but the child tends to be imprinted by those things. So this is an opportunity to liberate yourself from that. On the 7th of March, Saturn will move into Pisces. This is significant. Please check out that video for information, because on the same day that Saturn moves into Pisces, we will have a full moon in Virgo. This is the 6th of 7 full moons in a row at the 16th degree. The 16th degree is the intuitive Cancerian degree, the degree of self-nurturing. I could focus on what's coming out from me, but my work feels like it's focused on what comes in and how I allow the in to express the out, meaning my psychology, my belief in myself, and how I feel about the viability of my own happiness, because the sun will be in Pisces at 16 degrees, making an opposition to Virgo, or the moon in Virgo at 16 degrees. So there's an illumination here about my service, and in some ways, how I could potentially find myself not being seen. Pisces is a house where I feel unseen, where I'm sequestered into areas that, it's a place, it rules hospitals, it rules mental hospitals, it rules orphanages, it rules places where the human is quiet and in some ways stored. It represents old age homes. So this is an opportunity to really, on this full moon, allow the sun in Pisces. It's making a sextile to Uranus and Taurus, which is your 6th house. So I believe that this could have something to do with being of service to your family, or to the family structure, or to the family expectation of your participation and role. And there's an opportunity to liberate yourself from that. I will be doing a more in-depth video on this, so please look for that. It'll be coming out shortly. On the 10th, Jupiter and Chiron continue their conversation in your very creative and romantic house of Aries. And here it is at the Taurian degree, which is the Venusian degree. So here I'm thinking that by the 10th, you've had some sort of epiphanies and maybe broadened your perception of what you believe about yourself. I think this is, again, very important, because the Aries energy is brave and pioneering. It's courageous at its highest level, and that's what's being called forth as we transform this human experience. On the 13th of March, all the way through to the end of the month, we are going to feel Mars's transit in Gemini coming to a conclusion. But as it does, it's coming into a trine with Saturn, as Saturn has moved into Pisces. This trine will become exact on March 29th, when Mars is at 2 degrees Cancer and Saturn is at 2 degrees Pisces. Cancer is your 8th house, your house of transformation, and transformation from a very deep psychological platform. So here, what I want to say, because technically Mars moves into Cancer on the 25th, and technically Mars is not really the best in Cancer because the Cancer is very watery, Mars is very fiery. The two together can create steam. So initially this trine, while it is a harmonious aspect, may create steam, but that steam is also an opportunity to get the wrinkles out. So think about it that way. And also I want you to think about Saturn. While it rules history, it also rules the father. So if you have some sort of underlying issue with the impression of male authorities in your life, this may come up during this transit. On the 16th of March, Venus will move into her rulership Taurus, which is your 6th house, offering you an opportunity for liberation within the house of enslavement. And I say that because the 6th house is normally referred to as the house of the servant and the house of duty. It is also very similar to a Capricorn energy. But here we've had Uranus transiting this house for quite some time. So for you, Sagittarius, it's an opportunity to really reinvent yourself and your work environment. And that work environment will then help your health to feel more balanced and more aligned, is the way I want to put it. Venus being in her house of rulership in Taurus is very comfortable and she enjoys being there. And she was just spending time in Pisces where she enjoyed it. And as she went through Aries, she became very independent in some ways. So she is taking this independence and this revelation she had in Aries, and she's bringing it into the 6th house for you. So it's very powerful because it could transform the information that you garnished in your 5th house of your own personal expression could now be planted, the seeds. Now the seeds can be planted for you to enjoy that in your work environment and to make resources, aka money, from it. On the 19th of March, we have Mercury moving into Aries, and by the 27th, Mercury will be exact Jupiter at 18 degrees. Again, an opportunity to revisit how I think, what I speak, where we all want to talk about our lives and the various things that happen. But when we talk about challenging aspects and we start to give life to them by repeated conversations and then an emotional intensity attached to it, we start to manifest it. So here, I think there's a delineation between my monkey mind and my higher thoughts. And I don't want to exterminate or push either of them as the right or the wrong way of thinking, as much as I believe it's an integration. We need Mercury's information. We need those little bits of information. We can't always digest volumes and volumes of information. So here we're seeing an opportunity for awareness and bravery in the Aries energy. Here again in your 5th house about what you need, what you want in the way of your own expression and the way that people romance you and treat you with cherished energy and valued energy. On the 20th, the sun will move into Aries, and on the very next day, we will have a new moon at 0 degrees Aries. I will do another video for that specifically, but for the purposes of this video, that new moon is wildly important because it's on the world axis at the 0 degree, which is a critical degree. And we're already seeing 2 other planets visiting that 0 degree as they've shifted into new signs. So we're feeling a real palatable new energy. This particular new moon on the 21st is at 10:23 a.m. and it is at the very beginning of the year for the zodiac. Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. So this is a powerful new moon, and the work that you've done internally to identify the imprint within your mind and then to be aware of the imprint so that you can make an intentional choice as to either continue to nurture the imprint because it's working for you, or to start to be aware of it so that you can make another choice, Sagittarius, moving in a new foreign direction, and experience something different. On the 23rd, we will see Pluto start its entry into Aquarius. And again, this is a very powerful energy. I encourage you to go watch the video that I did for you specifically because it's going to talk about your house structure and some specific dates. We have eclipses coming up this spring. Very important. But for now, what I want to say is that the 0 degree here, we've got this new moon at the 0 degree Aries. And then a few days later, Pluto rules the depths of our heart. What's the psychological imprint that isn't necessarily seen outwardly? And so this is an opportunity to really individualize and to be intentional. Mars is the natural ruler of Scorpio, meaning the ancient ruler, and Pluto is the modern day ruler. So there's this feeling of this new moon asking me to be brave and to play to my Martian energy and to be brave in that I'm not attaching a definitive expectation, but rather calling forth a new journey of creativity and of self-satisfaction and of feeling valued in the world. This is super important. And I think this is truly what the age of Aquarius is and what it will represent. And as we allow ourselves that individuality, we actually find us resonating more and more with humans who express and appreciate authenticity. So you'll find your tribe for sure. All right, that's it for this video for my Sagittariuses. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm available. If you'd like to do a reading, you can contact me through my email and I will send you information. Also, I would like to ask you or invite you to join me on Sunday mornings where I do a live stream at 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's where we focus on the transits for the week ahead and we get the angel's advice. I do readings on that day. And then, of course, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment. I appreciate you. I read all the comments. I try to respond to each person. I want you to feel seen and heard. But if for some reason I haven't been able to respond to you, know that I'm sending you light and love. And I will see you next month, Sagittarius. Peace out.